Hello. Thank
Hello.
you for accepting this interview, first of
Merhaba.
all. Merhaba, yeah.
Merhaba.
We are talking with John Beasley. He came here for the International Jazz Day, which has celebrated in Turkey, in Istanbul, for the second time. I want to ask you, could you talk about how was it for you to be involved in this project as the music director?
Well, first of all, it was an honor to share the stage with all those jazz legends, my heroes, and Herbie, Milton, Wayne, all these incredible musicians. So this is the second year I've done this, and basically, we talk about who's coming, and I try to, depending on what the singers are and stuff. I call the musicians and say, how about you play with these guys? I think about who would be not only comfortable, but slightly uncomfortable or more of a challenge, to kind of get a little bit friction and release, tension and release out of it, so that it's not so normal, So, so I talk to them and how about this? How about this piece? And then try to figure out which songs will work with a great program together, and mix it. This time we really wanted to be conscious of music, maybe from Turkey, using Turkish musicians, and music that was composed either here or inspired by the Middle East or Asia and Constantinople, the whole history, the crossroads, So it took a few months, and that's how basically involved. And then of course I have to rehearse everybody first for 2 days before the concert, and listen and be inspired myself.
It was a really nice concert, and it was kind of thrilling for us to see such jazz giants on the same stage, on one organization. So it was a really exciting thing for the Turkish audience, and also many people all around the world. It was a huge organization, so many people.
I think a lot of people saw it.
Yeah, saw it.
And the building was fantastic.
Yeah, and it has nice acoustics, right? It has a kind of nice acoustic.
It has a very beautiful long reverb.
Yeah, not quite like suitable for jazz and playing some amplified music.
I'll say, for rhythmic music, maybe not the best place, but for the view, and you have to show the world that you're in Turkey, and what better way to show that the concert is in Turkey? If we show the concert from a brand new auditorium, it could be anywhere in the world. It was a pleasure to play music in that place.
And how did you define who will play with whom and which repertoire that they will play? Did you decide that collaboratively?
Well, I mean, I'm a student of this music, so I listen to this. I've listened to this music my whole life, so I feel like I have a feeling for each of their own voices, and so and also I have, material-wise, I feel. I can look back to the past as well as to the future. So, just like I said before, I talk to everyone and discuss what do you think. And of course, I'm in contact with Herbie and in the Institute, and we're all kind of put this thing together.
And I read that you came from a musical family, and how did your family have an influence your choices as a musician? I think you studied oboe for a period of time, then you concentrated on piano because I read that you wanted to be a big band leader.
Yeah.
Could you talk about your past as a musician a little bit?
My grandfather was a jazz trombonist in the 20s, and then he, when he was in his 30s, he had a family, so his wife said, no, you have to come off the road. And so he became a band director. And he raised my mother playing in his bands. He was a junior high and high school band director in Arkansas. And so he raised her, and whatever instrument he needed in the band, she played. Clarinet, Oh, this year I need trombone, this year I need percussion, So, in a way, my parents raised me with this tradition as well. There are always instruments around the house, and they never used the word no. And then, of course, my father is a pianist and a bassoonist, a jazz pianist and a bassoonist. So my earliest memories my dad, listening to my dad practice the piano in the morning before he went away to teach. And my mother became a band director as well, like her father. So whatever instrument she needed, she plugged me in, you know? So yeah, there were drums. I started on trumpet. And then they made me play piano. And, you know, I was a normal kid. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. But they would not let me quit. And, you know, I played oboe through school because it was similar to my dad playing bassoon, and I wanted to be like my dad, so I played oboe. And, but all this time I was playing piano lessons. And, you know, the music of my generation was, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire and Zeppelin and Hendrix and all this. I had a guitar, and I was trying to play guitar, but I was a bad guitar player. And I had a band, and there was a girl that was playing piano in the band, and she got bored. And then one day when she quit, it dawned on me, well, I've been taking piano lessons all this time. Let me try to play. So I figured out a Stevie Wonder tune or something like. I said, oh wow, this is a lot more better for me because I was an awful guitar player. So that's how I ended up playing piano.
And also, you work in many varied projects, including reality shows like American Idol, and also writing scores for movies. And you are the music director. You were the music director of Steely Dan, which I really like, by the way. And also, like Queen Latifah, you worked in really diversified projects. And as a musician, what kind of different aspects of your musicianship do you experience in that diversified projects you involve through your music career?
Well, you know, my jazz background has helped me through all of this, because being a jazz musician is being flexible, and improvising helps you. You know, I can improvise being a hip-hop musician. I can improvise being a rock musician. And also jazz gives you the training for rhythm, you know, so that I can play in a rock band. I can play also organization. You know, music is music. And because jazz is maybe very diverse, you know, there's many styles of jazz, and this helps me, you know. Also, I believe, you know, jazz music, to be a really great jazz musician, you know, you listen to everything, and you draw influence and are inspired by all kinds of music, classical music, blues, rock and roll, R&B, hip hop. I listen to everything, and that helps me with my jazz, and my jazz helps me with this music. There are no boundaries.
Since it was the Jazz Day, you know, recently, there were sessions that people talk what jazz is to them. Could you please explain what jazz is to you?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a kind of hard one, I guess.
Freedom. I can play the same song for a month every day, and depending on my mood, I can play it a different way every time. Also, like a brotherhood, I can play with musicians from all over the world, and immediately have a connection with them through the music. Because, you know, in jazz we all have these standards we play, or just playing blues, or like I can't wait to play with these Turkish musicians and learn this Turkish song we're going to play. So it's freedom of expression, you know, and courage to go from one note to the other, but not necessarily knowing what note you're going to play next, but having the courage to go to the next note.
Thank you for the answer. Also, you're an educator, and we are right now at the Istanbul Technical University's Maçka campus. We are at Turkish Music State Conservatory, and thank you for accepting to give a master class in here. It's such an honor for us and for our students. and we'll be going there for the
It's my
master
pleasure.
class
I mean,
that
to
you'll
share the
direct.
music and share whatever little knowledge I have.
You also teach at Codarts, right?
I teach at Kodak. Yes.
Can you talk about your experiences as an educator a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, when you're teaching or sharing, I should say, you end up saying things that maybe I did a long time ago and don't do anymore. I learn just as much by trying to give as I do by I'll say something like, yeah, try practicing this way or try this way, and I go, wow, I should be doing this myself. So maybe we should call it sharing instead of teaching.
That's quite possible too. And also, you worked with many great musicians during your, young age as a musician. In your 20s, you worked with Miles and Freddie Hubbard. And how did your association with Miles, for example, develop?
Well, I had a band. I was in a band with Vinnie Colaiuta, Gary Willis, and Steve Tavoloni. And it was a pretty progressive band for the time. We'd show up and improvise the whole evening, which was different in Los Angeles at that time. And so people started coming and checking out the band. And one of the guys that came a lot was Vince Wilburn, who was Miles' nephew, and also played drums with Miles for some time. And he came up to me one day and said, hey, man, give me a tape. I'll give it to Miles. So this was back in the cassette days. So I went back to home and put the drum machine on and just kind of played some things over a beat that I thought maybe Miles, listening to Miles, what he was doing at that time, might resonate with. And then I gave the tape back to Vince and completely forgot it, made myself forget about it because I didn't want to think about what could or could not happen. And one day I was in Florida and he called me on the phone and said, man, I want you to join the band. I said, really? Are you sure? And he was a great guy. He was very personable with his band members.
And, in what ways people you worked during your 20s or 30s marked your life? I want to ask that, for example, Miles or Freddie Hubbard.
Well, both those guys for sure. I mean, with Miles, I think he helped me mature, and as a human being in a way. I was in my late 20s, going into my 30s, and I was going through a lot in my life, and we'd talk. And also with Miles, my ears were I was so inspired to be with him that I would come home from tours and play with other guys, and I could hear everything all of a sudden. He really commands attention. I'm not saying, listen to me, but just by the way his courage comes out of his horn, it's like, immediately, it's like a magnet. He draws right to you. So my ears, it was great for my ears, and learning how to comp for him and accompany him was a pleasure. With Freddie, it was all about endurance and keeping up, because he was so strong. He was such an amazing musician and trumpet player. He would start the sets. It was fast. First song, boom. So you had to, boom, be there, And he would stand over me, when I was soloing, and look at me. So he kind of really built up my confidence in a way, and I had to be strong right back.
Also, among so many projects, you also find time to record your own music. I know that 3 Brave Souls is your left.
It's current record, yes.
Record.
Right.
Could you talk about that album a little bit?
Yeah, well, we, Daryl Jones, myself, and Ndugu wanted to put a band together to kind of like be a little bit more rootsy in the music. you know, and draw on each other's strengths. You know, and Duga's a great, very creative groove drummer. You know, he plays a great pocket, but he's also very fluid. And Daryl, of course, you know, with Miles and the Rolling Stones. And so we kind of wanted to bring back our influences, you know, for me. Well, and all three of us played with Miles Davis. So that sound, along with my Louisiana upbringing, you know, the Crusaders, Sly Stone, you know, so we wanted to bring those influences into the music, and that's what happened with Three Brain Souls.
What about upcoming projects?
I have a big band that I put together called Monkestra, and it's all my arrangements on Thelonious Monk songs. And so we're going to record the next few months and hopefully have something out in this year, or 2014.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
There's some YouTube stuff. You should check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah? Okay. Monk's music is so pliable. It's a sign of a great composer, right? You can make it go so many different ways. So it's been really fun to, you know, sacrilegiously, you know, funk up Monk a little bit, you know.
Do you have anything to say for Turkish jazz audience?
Thank you for, you know, allowing us to come to your great country and play music for you. And hopefully the concert inspired listeners to kind of want to check out this music a little bit more and support your Turkish jazz musicians that are here, because it's really not so much about the musicians as it is about the audience and them getting a taste and a passion for the music, so that we can keep on coming and these Turkish musicians have many places to play and express themselves.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for new collaborations, I guess. Thank you a lot for this interview. It was an honor for us to listen to your music and everything else.
Oh, it was all our honor, and
Thank you.
really appreciate it. Thank you.